Alrighty, so today we're going to go ahead and talk about synthetic division. Synthetic division, we're using it here, one, because we need to talk about it, and two, it is a nice breakup from dealing with polynomials, and it kind of gives us a little transitional phrase between our next topic. I really like synthetic division because what I can do is divide polynomials using more than just one term on the bottom. And I don't really use too much division, I use it all with numbers. So I essentially can do division with multiplication and addition. Trust me, I promise you it works, and it's super cool. So what I do when I divide synthetically is I first take a look at what I'm dividing by, which means this little piece over here. Whatever number is with my x, either added or subtracted, in this case it's going to be subtracted, I'm going to take that number and I'm going to do the opposite sign. And that's what I'm going to end up dividing everything by. So I see minus 5, so I'm going to have plus 5. Then I'm going to take all of the coefficients of this big guy, and I'm going to write them in descending order. Now, I make sure, is it in descending order? Yep, it is. Remember, coefficients are just all the numbers out front. So I have 1, negative 8, 17, and negative 10. This little spot here in the back, right here, that I just drew that weird line for, is going to be the remainder. So it's kind of like what gets left over. So I will forever and always start this by bringing the very first term down. Then I'm going to take that number times whatever is in here. So I have I have 1 times 5, which will give me 5. And that multiplication I put right under my next term. Next, I'm going to take negative 8 plus 5, which will give me negative 3, which I do right there. Then I'm going to take this negative 3 times 5 again, which is going to give me a positive 15. And I'm going to write that underneath my 17. 15 plus 17 will give me a 32. Then I'm going to take that 32 I'm going to multiply by that 5 again, which will give me 160. 10 minus 160, excuse me, negative 10 plus 160 is 150. So my answer is, using these coefficients that I just found, my first term will be 1 less than the x I started with. So I started with a 3. So I'll have x squared minus 3x plus 32 with a remainder of 150. Now, remainders are like extra stuff. So, for example, you don't need to write this down. We know that 4 divided by 2 is 2. There's nothing left over with that 2. It's just simply evenly divided into it. But 5 divided by 2 will give me 2.5. That 0.5 is the remainder or stuff that's left over. So this remainder here is not 150, it's just the remainder of 150. All right, let's go ahead and do this next one. So I start by looking at my opposite sign. So I'm going to divide by 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and write all my coefficients. So I have negative 2, 15, negative 22, negative 15. I'm going to start by bringing down that to negative 2. Then I have negative 2 times 3, which gives me negative 6. So I have 15 minus 6, which is 9. Then I have 9 times 3, which is 27. So I have negative 22 plus 27, which gives me 5. I have 3 times 5, which is 15. Negative 15 plus 15 is 0. This means that I don't have a remainder in this case. So my answer is negative 2x squared plus 9x plus 5. Because it was able to evenly divide out. Alright, let's see some more. This time I'm going to divide by negative 2. Because I have a positive 2 in here. I have 1, 5, negative 1, negative 9. Bring down that first term. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 1 minus 6 is negative 7. Negative 7 times negative 2 is 14. Negative 9 plus 14 is 5. So my answer is x squared plus 3x minus 7, the remainder of 5. Alright, we start with a negative 3. I have 1, 2, 5, and 12. I bring down that first one. Then I take 1 times negative 3, which is negative 3. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Then I have negative 1 times negative 3, which is positive 3. Which means I have 5 plus 3, which gives me 8. Then I have 8 times negative 3, which is negative 24. I have 12 minus 24, which gives me a negative 12. So my answer is x squared minus x plus 8. So the remainder of negative 12. Okay, I'm going to divide by negative 1. So I have 1, 7, 15, and 9. Bring down that 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 times negative 1 is negative 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. I have x squared plus 6x plus 9. Going to divide by 5. So I have 1, negative 5, negative 7, and 25. Bring down that first term. I have 1 times 5, which is 5. Negative 5 plus 5 gives me 0. 0 times 5 is 0. So I have negative 7 minus 0, which gives me negative 7. So I have negative 7 times 5, which is negative 35. So 25 minus 35, which is negative 10. So my answer is x squared plus 0 x's, which means I don't have anything, minus 7 with a remainder of negative 10. Alright, I want you to try these two. If you get these two correct, you're done with the notes. If you do not, I want you to check out the last two. Alright, I have to rewrite number 8 because I ran out of room. Ooh, wrong button. Alright, I hope you got the following two answers. If so, then go ahead and stop the video and go on to your homework. If not, let's go ahead and do these last two together, hopefully helping out wherever we might have gone wrong. So first steps first, we need to take a look at what we're going to divide by. Remember, we're dividing by the opposite of what I see. So I'm going to divide by -5. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the coefficients of every term. So I have 1, 3, -13, and -15. Going to bring down that first term. Then I take that 1 times -5, and I get -5. So I have 3 minus 5, which gives me -2. I have -2 times -5, which gives me a +10. I have -13 plus 10, which gives me -3. Then -3 times -5, which gives me +15, which means I get 0. So my answer is x squared minus 2x minus 3. Again, number 10, I think I wrote number 9 a little bit too big, so I'm going to kind of write it down here. So I'm going to divide by 4 because it's the opposite of that negative. And I have my coefficients of 1, -5, 5, 7, and -12. Bring down that 1. And I have 1 times 4, which gives me a +4. I have -5 plus 4, which gives me -1. -1 times 4 gives me -4. 5 minus 4 is +1. 1 times 4 is 4. 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 times 4 is 44. -12 plus 44 is 32. So I have x cubed minus x squared plus x plus 11 with a remainder of 32. Alrighty, that's all I got for you. See you tomorrow.